Hello guys. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about people and how they perceive the world. First off, I'm going to talk a little bit about the differences in how we perceive the world and how we judge things. So the first thing I think is interesting is how people are, they believe they see the reality as it is. They think they know the world, like they think they know something. And with this, for example, we can say we move to a country, we move to Sweden, and we move to Stockholm in Sweden, and you're coming from say you come from Vietnam or Bali or something. You may think that Sweden or Stockholm is quite people are quite quiet and individualized and separate and quite busy with themselves, not so kind and open and loving, for example. So this is one experience, this is a perception based upon where you come from, your bias, what you expect, what you're used to. So this is your filter from where you're seeing the world. And comparing this, so you believe Stockholm is in a certain way, like Stockholm is this, Stockholm is not so social, whatever. This is how you believe. So comparing this with, for example, someone that comes from north of Sweden going to Stockholm, or someone that comes from Russia, or whatever, any country that may be like very different and more on the other side, so they may experience Stockholm in a very different way. They may come here and think like, wow, people are so out doing things, being so social and alive and active. It's like so it's quite interesting how this goes for everything and everything all the time. How we perceive our world is our own bias, and it's totally subjective. There is as many worlds as there is people. So the other aspect is about the oftenly misunderstood idea that, for example, you like food, you love food, you derive a lot of your satisfaction and so on from food. And I say you should eat less. You have to eat healthier, and you see this as a problem, and you think that you need this food. I want this food, I want these things. And you truly believe that you really need this food, and you're really disturbed. You probably won't even accept it. Maybe you don't change your diet. You want to eat like this, because you believe it is so important for you. You believe it has, it contains something important. You need to eat this food. You need to have it. You don't want to let it go. And it's the same thing with addiction. You have been taking drugs for a long while. Of course, you don't want it. You're so used to it, and probably a lot of what you believe, your joy, comes from these kicks and these moments. It's your safety, it's your everything. So just thinking about it show you this idea that you really need it. You cannot be without it. You can not even imagine how you could be without it. And that is the thing. That you need it is also imagination. It's a belief, it's a concept, it's a habit, it's an image in your head. It's a story that you believe in. Very, it's reasonable. I understand that. this is why I can speak about it, because but the truth of this is that it is only an idea that is ever changeable. It is only thoughts put together in a story that you believe in, fundamentally, the essence of it. You can change these things as much as you like. Whatever you're used to, whatever you expect of life, whatever you believe of these things is your creation. You are the creator. You're not a victim to that story. You have, accumulated that story over time. So you're not bound to a certain reality to be able to feel joy, peace, and love. I would say it's quite the opposite. There is much higher potential for you to feel peace, love, and joy than from what you're now doing of eating what you're eating or living like you're living. So it would be terrible if you were brought up in a certain circumstance, and if you couldn't keep up with it, now you're doomed to, being miserable for the rest of your life because you were born in this whatever environment and situation, and now that is not anymore, and now you are miserable. That would be so terrible. But luckily this is not the case. We are profoundly way more like powerful and divine and this magical, beyond these mere stupid concepts actually. So I would say that you can create anything. Sometimes I feel like people, they look at some child in some poor country and they think, oh, this is so poor, oh, sad, this child is suffering and so on. But I would say like this: there is people that has everything that is suffering more, because it's all subjective. It is all in your head. So I have done it many times in many different ways. I've detached from the ideas. I have seen through them. I've seen the illusion, the hollowness of them, and been able to live and change and appreciate, myself and other things, whatever, So whatever, the only thing it actually takes is the discernment or the space to allow to question it. Like, instead of just assuming that you need it and continue living it, you just stop and it's like, okay, maybe I don't. Do I? And you give it space and you try and you test and you're curious. Or you, as me, you're just like, you have to. You're not gonna be controlled by mere thoughts. You're gonna live freely. You're gonna choose your happiness. You're gonna live joyfully, whatever happens. No circumstances are gonna make me suffer. I mean, come on. It can't be that. Life is so magical. It's so profound. It's so undescribably fantastic in so many ways. So it's of course it cannot be that limited. Yes. So you can create your life. You can create whatever you want, whatever you need. And the better you can enjoy whatever is, the better you can enjoy, perceive your reality, your life, the people around you, yourself, whatever, the happier you will be. The more you will appreciate life. There is no wrongs. Life doesn't have to be a certain way. A lot of people think that. They get disturbed by how the world is and how people are, and they think that they're gonna manage life, putting themselves in the way of life, thinking it shouldn't be like this. Doesn't change anything. It doesn't change anything. It only creates resistance within you that therefore creates suffering within you. Not only for you, now people are also missing out on your joy that you could have been. The fulfillment, the light that you are, that you could have been. not only you are missing out on it, everyone else is as well. So please don't resist the reality. Don't get into arguments with what is, because if you think about it, it has already happened. Someone is driving by and they are cutting you off, or whatever, and you imagine, oh, he's a little wanker, whatever you think of him, like you imagine something about him, you imagine him thinking something about you, whatever, it's it has already happened. The moment that you think he shouldn't have done like that, you are, by your ability to memorize something, remember something, imagine things, you're now having a little own discussion with your mind, is having a little fight with itself, actually. Imagination with imagination about something that has happened and that it shouldn't have happened, judging it. And it's happening in the present moment. So you're losing your presence, you're losing now, going into thinking about something that has happened, and you don't like it, but it doesn't change, it doesn't help you in any possible way. It only creates disturbance, and you miss out on the present. And if there is any people around you, they probably also feel this, for no reason. So foolish. I just realized this some year ago. It's like so foolish. Why ever bother about what has happened? You will not change the world by fighting with someone. You're not here to change people. You're not here to fight with the world. And if you want to change the world, then change yourself. Elevate, transcend your ego, grow within. Raise your vibration, your frequency, because that is actually something that matters. That is something that actually affects the reality. That matters. The more light, peace and joy, love you can contain, embody, be, the more present you are, the more you become a vessel of grace in this world. The more the universe is realizing that you are using your light, you're a channel of light into this world. You are generous, you are kind, you're supportive, you care, you spread your light. The more light will be given to you. The more you stay with yourself, the more you leave the mind and the imagination of the future and the past, and evolve, develop your presence. And a little tip for you, the last thing, a little tip for you. Being is not something you do. You have been doing your whole life, or not you, the mind has been doing, your identity, the ego, me, has been doing your whole life. I'm gonna become this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, managing life, So now when I say, be, transcend your ego, be, it's like, yeah, I'm gonna be, and but the thing is that being is what is already beyond everything. Being has always been beyond all this me and my life and trying to attain and become and do. So it's not about doing anymore. It's about non-doing. It's about letting go and just being. And this is also happening by itself. If you just sit down, sit down and leave everything, whatever pops up, recognize it is thoughts and leave them. Some image of the future, some physical sensation, some emotion, some memory, it's all thought form. So just allow it to be there and continue to be. Learn to leaving is not a thing to do either. You just starve it with your attention. Just whatever, you're done with everything. It's like, whatever, I'm gonna be now. And the longer you sit with this, the more the higher is the chance that you finally settle within. And the more often you do it, I would say you have to do it minimum every day to get the true advantage. Because our life is a repetition of every day. Your subconscious, your mind, it's a repetition of every day, So if you don't do it every day, that day between becomes unnecessary. It's very enhancing. It's very, very powerful to whenever you do whatever you're doing. If you want more power to it, do it every day. Short moments, fine, but do it every day. 10 minutes, awesome. 5 minutes is okay as well. And eventually maybe 20 minutes, half an hour maybe even. It doesn't really matter. I would say that, sometimes it has taken me half an hour to settle. Sometimes I have given up before I even settled, in the beginning. First times it was really, really, really difficult. But you persist. Persistence is the number one ability in this world. It's not even an ability; it's a choice. It's wisdom. Knowing that persistence is everything. It is such a vital aspect of life in any possible way. It's everything. You can do anything. You don't have to stress, but persist. Accept. Have patience with yourself, but persist. And enjoy, be curious, play with it, Nothing in life is serious. That's the biggest misconception of, from the ego, from the mind, believing life is serious, It's not. So, yes, I believe in you. Have a great day, and I hope you enjoy this video.